Hello everyone, welcome to Gizmo China. I'm Kieran. Recently Realme is really on fire. Not just the hot Realme X50 Pro challenges the other well-known budget monster, but also the Realme 6 series were distributed to different markets. The series have quite specific segments targeting at different markets and prices. The price of the Realme 6i is pretty attractive, and what's worth talking about is the latest MediaTek CPU, the Helio G80. It just makes its debut on the Realme 6i. So if you're looking for a real budget, it could be better for you to check out this video and find out if it's your option. Okay, let's start with its appearance. A front face with a water drop notch, 720p display. It's quite a common look for most budget phones. And looking to the rear design, the quad camera setup is really something special for a budget model. Another interesting detail is the rear material. Although it's some kind of plastics, the matte finish creates a really good touch feeling and regular gloss changes. And let's look at the Helio G80 CPU. It supports up to 8GB LPDDR4X memory, providing MediaTek's own hyper engine for gaming. From the information of its architectures, it seemed like an upgraded version of the G70. It's built with 12nm process, which is the same as the G90 was built. In our Geekbench 5 test, the single core performance scored at around 350, which is a bit better than the Snapdragon 665. But when it came to multi-core tests, the G80 is a bit behind the Snapdragon 665. And then we moved to the Antutu benchmark. Things got a bit different. The G80 scored over 200,000, while the Snapdragon 665's average score is only around 140,000. If we retested it in Geekbench 4, the results were much closer to the Antutu. So if we compared their Antutu results, the G80 performance is much better than the Snapdragon 665, and even better than the score of Snapdragon 710, which is around 174,000 points. But it didn't make any sense if we only review it with the benchmark results. So let's check out its gaming performance. First we tried to play PUBG Mobile under default graphics settings, but the game didn't support the 6i with a high frame rate of 60 FPS, but only supported up to 40 frames per second. And what the 6i can do is more than that. It maintained the highest 40 FPS without much fluctuation. And I think the game developers should be open to the high frame rate for this phone, because it deserves that. And then we moved to the Bright Ridge Namian Legend. Under default settings, though a bit fluctuated between 45 FPS and 55 FPS, it averagely remained at 50 FPS. But when we turned on all the picture effects, an obvious drop in frame rate suddenly brought us back to reality. Indeed, it's not reasonable to expect such a budget phone with a new SoC to challenge those flagships. Anyway, the Realme 6i with the Helio G80 is able to handle most games without significant laggy problems. At least for those who can afford a budget phone under $180 for gaming. It's not a bad option. The rear cameras include a 48 megapixel primary camera, an 8 megapixel wide angle one, and a 2 megapixel portrait and another 2 megapixel macro camera. So no more words, just look at the samples. Thanks to the Chrome Boost mode, the photos shot by the primary camera, including the high resolution mode, inherited a vivid tone that has been reserved on other Realme models. And under the boost mode, it's able to fix some image problems such as dehaze. And we also noticed that the Realme 6i has covered most scenarios, including wide angle, macro, 48 megapixel, high resolution, night mode, and so on, though it's just only a budget phone. But please don't expect too much from the sub cameras. Some samples from the sub cameras were not satisfactory due to the limitations of low resolution. But we still recommend it for social media, because these cameras definitely brought a lot of fun on your page. The Realme 6i equips a 5000 mAh large battery and supports up to 18 watts charging efficiency. To get a full charge, it took us around 2 hours with the included charger. So that's the latest result and experience we had from the Realme 6i. Probably it won't be sold in your area, but in those areas where the budget phones are still dominating the phone market, the Realme 6i is fairly worth a position. If you have any questions about the phone, please leave it in the comments. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Thanks for watching. This is Kieran from Gizmo China. We'll see you soon.